Carrie Underwood has been overwhelmed recently while she is back home. She is seemingly struggling to keep up. However, a source has revealed all the truths behind what she is going through. Since being on American Idol, she has been back home taking care of her farm and the dozens of animals she has. There is a lot to unfold and uncover when it comes to this. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Carrie Underwood was a judge on American Idol for the first time last season. However, this was not her first time on the show. She actually won it when it first started. Carrie was the first judge to have won the show, which gave it a different insight. However, this did not go as planned. During the season, Carrie had a lot of requests and ruffled a lot of feathers. She ended up being hated on the show. However, viewers did like that she brought something new to the table. It is unknown if Carrie Underwood will return to the screens for a second season or not. Carrie Underwood owns a farm with a lot of animals. She loves showing it off on social media and giving fans updates. However, it seems all of that is getting to be too much for her. A source said, "It's become too much for her to maintain, and she's getting no sleep because she's up at the crack of dawn taking care of all these animals. She's shoveling hay, weeding, fertilizing, harvesting, and then there are the repairs that never end. It doesn't help that she's had a hard time finding and keeping hired hands. It's picturesque on social media. Behind the scenes, it's far from idyllic. Well, the farm does not seem to be going the way she wanted it to. Fans are now wondering what she is going to end up doing. It seems as though Carrie is struggling to keep up with her farm and all the animals she owns. This is more work than she expected, and it seems she could be drowning in the number of things she has to do for the animals and her farm. However, the future of this is uncertain. She has been trying to keep people hired to help out, but that doesn't seem to be working either. Chapter 1. The Spotlight's Shadow. The bright lights of the stage shimmered like 1,000 tiny stars, blinding yet mesmerizing. Carrie Underwood stood at the center, microphone in hand, her voice soaring through the air as thousands of fans cheered wildly. For a moment, she felt invincible, an embodiment of dreams realized and music that touched souls. But beneath that radiant veneer, a quiet storm was brewing. In the months leading up to this tour, Carrie had poured every ounce of herself into her performances. The grueling schedule, endless rehearsals, media appearances, and personal sacrifices had become her new reality. The applause was intoxicating, but the exhaustion was real. She often found herself staring at her reflection in hotel mirrors, wondering if she was still the same girl who once sang in small-town bars, dreaming of a brighter tomorrow. She had achieved so much, multiple Grammys, chart-topping hits, a devoted fanbase. Yet, with each milestone, the pressure mounted. The expectations were relentless. Fans, critics, her own ambitions, they all demanded more. The more she achieved, the more she felt the weight of keeping up, of being perfect. Tonight, as she glanced out into the sea of faces, she felt a flicker of doubt. Was she still the same Carrie? Or had she become a reflection of what everyone else wanted her to be? Chapter 2. The Mask of Strength. Backstage, Carrie clutched her microphone like a lifeline. She took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. Her makeup artist approached, offering a reassuring smile, but Carrie's mind was elsewhere. "Are you okay?" her manager asked softly, sensing her tension. "Yeah," Carrie replied, forcing a smile. "Just tired, that's all." Inside, she was anything but. The constant barrage of emails, social media comments, and the relentless pursuit of perfection had begun to wear her down. She was grateful for her career, but sometimes the pressure felt suffocating. She remembered her early days, singing in church, performing at local fairs, dreaming of a stage like this. Those memories felt distant now, replaced by a relentless drive to succeed. She wondered if she had sacrificed her own happiness for fame. In her quiet moments, Carrie often questioned whether she was still living her truth or simply chasing an elusive ideal. The persona she presented on stage was a shield, a carefully crafted mask hiding her vulnerabilities. Chapter 3. The Silent Struggle. Off-stage, Carrie's life was a whirlwind of obligations. She cherished her family, her husband, Mike Fisher, and their children, but even her home life was touched by the demands of her career. Late nights at the studio, early mornings with her kids, and a constant juggling act left her exhausted. She loved her children fiercely, but sometimes, she felt she was failing them. The guilt gnawed at her during quiet moments, whispering that she was missing out on their childhoods. Her mental health was a delicate balance. Anxiety crept in, especially before performances. She would wake up in the middle of the night, heart pounding, mind racing with worries. Was she doing enough? Was she enough? She confided in her close friends, feeling a mixture of relief and shame. Admitting vulnerability was hard for her. She saw herself as strong, resilient, unbreakable. But the truth was, she was struggling, overwhelmed by the relentless pace, the expectations, and her own high standards. Chapter 4, The Breaking Point. One evening, after a particularly demanding week, Carrie found herself in her hotel room, tears streaming down her face. She had just finished a grueling rehearsal, exhausted beyond words. The walls felt closing in. She looked at herself in the mirror, seeing a woman who had given so much but felt empty inside. She questioned her purpose, her identity beyond the fame. That night, she stayed awake, contemplating her life. Was this sustainable? Could she keep up this facade forever? The thought of stepping away, of retreating into the quiet simplicity of her roots, crossed her mind, but fear held her back. What if her fans forgot her? What if she lost her place in the industry she loved? The fear of failure and irrelevance kept her chained to her schedule, yet, deep down, she knew she needed to find herself again, to reconnect with the girl who once sang for joy, not just for applause. Chapter 5, The Turning Point. The next morning, Carrie made a decision. She needed help, not just professionally, but personally. She reached out to a counselor, opening up about her struggles and fears. It was a difficult step, but one that marked the beginning of her journey toward healing. She started to prioritize self-care, setting boundaries on her work schedule. She learned to say no, to protect her mental health. She reconnected with her faith, finding solace in prayer and reflection. Her family became her anchor. She carved out time for her children and her husband, rediscovering the simple joys of home life. The more she embraced her vulnerabilities, the stronger she felt. Slowly, she began to shed the layers of pressure that had weighed her down. She realized that true strength came from authenticity, from embracing her imperfections. Chapter 6, Rebuilding and Resilience. As Carrie returned to the stage, she did so with a renewed sense of purpose. Her performances were imbued with raw emotion, her voice carrying the depth of her experiences. She shared her story with her fans, about struggles, about resilience, about the importance of mental health. Her honesty resonated, creating a deeper connection with those who looked up to her. Her music evolved, reflecting her journey. Songs of vulnerability, hope, and healing became her signature. Her fans responded with even greater love and support. Carrie learned that she didn't have to keep up with an impossible ideal. Instead, she chose to be true to herself, embracing her journey with all its ups and downs. Chapter 7, The New Dawn. Years later, Carrie stood on a different stage, this time, not overwhelmed by the spotlight but shining in her own light. She had faced her demons and emerged stronger. Her story became an inspiration for many, proof that even the brightest stars face darkness, but with courage and self-compassion, they can find their way back to the light. She continued to make music, to inspire, and to live authentically. The struggles had not disappeared, but she had learned to navigate them, to keep pace without losing herself. In the end, Carrie Underwood's journey was not just about fame and success but about resilience, authenticity, and the unwavering pursuit of happiness.